heteropolysaccharides, they are also called as mucopolysaccharides or glycosaminoglycans. Mucopolysaccharides are glycosaminoglycans or heteroglycans. Glycosaminoglycan is an unbranched polysaccharide made up of repeating disaccharide units which are having one component of amino sugar and the other component is uronic acid. So glycosaminoglycans, these are heteropolysaccharides, but the repeating unit is made up of disaccharide units, and these disaccharides, one monosaccharide unit is amino sugar and the other monosaccharide unit is uronic acid. So glycosaminoglycans are the heteropolysaccharides made up of amino sugar and uronic acid repeated units. So amino sugar, generally we see D-glucosamine or D-galactosamine. Uronic acid, we can see D-glucuronic acid or iduronic acid. Except keratin sulfate in heteroglycans or heteropolysaccharides, there is galactose. So except keratin sulfate, it has galactose instead of this uronic acid. So I will tell you the difference in keratin sulfate also. But heteropolysaccharides or glycosaminoglycans, these are the repeating disaccharide units which are made up of amino sugar and uronic acid. This amino sugar can be D-glucosamine or D-galactosamine, uronic acid D-glucuronic acid or iduronic acid. We will see one by one examples for the glycosaminoglycans. So glycosaminoglycans can be classified into sulfate containing glycosaminoglycans or sulfate free glycosaminoglycans. Sulfate free glycosaminoglycan, we have one example, that is hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid. So glycosaminoglycan sulfate free is hyaluronic acid. Sulfate containing glycosaminoglycans, we have chondroitin sulfate, dermatan sulfate, keratan sulfate, heparan sulfate. So these are examples for sulfate containing glycosaminoglycans. Functions of glycosaminoglycans, this is very important. Functions of glycosaminoglycan, these are the structural component of extracellular matrix. These are structural components of extracellular matrix, contribute to the turgor of various tissues. It acts as sieves in extracellular matrix. EC means extracellular matrix, and it facilitates cell migration, acts as shock absorber at joints, and maintenance of compressibility of cartilage is also by glycosaminoglycans, and they have a structural role in sclera and in corneal transparency. Acts as anticoagulant. It determines the charge selectiveness of renal glomerulus. Formation of cell membrane and synaptic vesicles. Formation of cell membrane, synaptic vesicles is the role of functions of glycosaminoglycan. So that is about the functions of glycosaminoglycan. The first example under glycosaminoglycans is hyaluronic acid. This hyaluronic acid, you know that it is a sulfate free glycosaminoglycan. So hyaluronic acid structure, if you see, the repeating units in the hyaluronic acid are N-acetyl glucosamine, D-glucuronic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. So N-acetyl glucosamine and D-glucuronic acid are linked by beta-1,4 glycosidic bond, and D-glucuronic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine, they are linked by 1,3 glycosidic unit. So this is a polymer. That is why I have kept square bracket and N I have written. So in case of hyaluronic acid, the repeating unit is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine and D-glucuronic acid. The bonding in hyaluronic acid is beta 1,4 and beta 1,3 glycosidic bonds. So this hyaluronic acid is present in the synovial fluid of joints. You know that joints, knee joint, the knee joint is made up of synovial joint, and this synovial joint consists of a fluid. That fluid is made up of hyaluronic acid, and this hyaluronic acid is also present in the fluid that is present in the vitreous humor of the eye. So vitreous humor of the eye also you will see hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid is also present in the cartilage, tendons and loose connective tissue. So in all these tissues you will see this hyaluronic acid, which is a very important glycosaminoglycan present in the ground tissue and in the fluids. So hyaluronidase is the enzyme which depolymerizes this hyaluronic acid. So hyaluronic acid is very important and present in the vitreous humor of the eye, synovial fluid of joints, cartilage, tendons and loose connective tissue. If you see the functions of hyaluronic acid acts as a lubricant and shock absorbent in joints, maintenance of compressibility of cartilage, and helps in weight bearing along with chondroitin sulfate. It acts as a tissue barrier resisting penetration by bacteria. It acts as a tissue barrier by resisting penetration of the bacteria. Then another example of glycosaminoglycan is sulfate containing glycosaminoglycans. First example we have chondroitin sulfate. So in the chondroitin sulfate, the repeating units of chondroitin sulfate are made up of N-acetyl galactosamine and D-glucuronic acid. So this is N-acetyl galactosamine and D-glucuronic acid, they are linked to each other by beta 1,4 and beta 1,3 glycosidic linkages. This chondroitin sulfate is mainly present in the cartilage, tissue, bones, tendons. So this is a sulfated molecule, glycosaminoglycan. The sulfate groups are present at the 4th and 6th positions in the this galactosamine, and galactosamine 4th and 6th positions are sulfated. So this is a example for sulfated glycosaminoglycan, mainly seen in cartilage, bone and tendons. Chondroitin sulfate functions, if you see, it is mainly present in cartilage. So in the cartilage it binds with the collagen and holds fibers in a strong tight network. So role in compressibility of cartilage. When cartilage is compressed, this chondroitin sulfate helps in weight bearing along with the hyaluronic acid. It is located inside certain neurons and may provide an endoskeletal structure also, helping to maintain their shape. So shape of the neurons can be maintained because of the presence of chondroitin sulfate, which acts as endoskeleton. Another example of glycosaminoglycan, sulfated glycosaminoglycan, is dermatan sulfate. So this is present in sclera, skin, heart valves, blood vessel valves also. You can see this dermatan sulfate. The name itself indicates it is mainly present in the skin, sclera and other valves like heart valves, blood vessel valves also. You can see this dermatan sulfate. The repeating units in the dermatan sulfate are made up of iduronic acid, N-acetyl galactosamine. Iduronic acid, N-acetyl galactosamine. They are linked by alpha 1,3 and beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. This dermatan sulfate function is it maintains the sclera of the eye and overall shape of the eye also. So this is present in the sclera of the eye, and it helps in the maintenance of overall shape of the eye. Then another example of glycosaminoglycan is keratin sulfate. So this is the only glycosaminoglycan without uronic acid. So keratin sulfate is not having uronic acid. So here the glucosamine is there, N-acetyl glucosamine and galactose. So N-acetyl glucosamine and galactose are the repeating units, and these two are linked to each other by beta 1,4 and beta 1,3 glycosidic linkage. Two types of keratin sulfates are there, keratin sulfate 1 and keratin sulfate 2. So KS1 is keratin sulfate 1, KS2 is keratin sulfate 2. So KS1 keratin sulfate 1 is present in cornea and KS2 is present in loose connective tissue. The function of keratin sulfate is to maintain the corneal transparency. Corneal transparency is maintained by keratin sulfate. So this is another example of glycosaminoglycan. Another example we have is heparin and heparan sulfate. So heparin, this is the only intracellular glycosaminoglycan. Intracellular means this is present inside the cell. So heparin is the only glycosaminoglycan which is present inside the cell. So this is made up of iduronic acid and glucosamine. And they are linked by alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkages. So initially 90% of uronic acid is D-glucuronic acid. Later it is epimerized to iduronic acid in heparin. So this heparin is present in mast cells of the liver, lung, spleen, blood, skin. Function of heparin is it acts as anticoagulant in vivo and in vitro. So in vitro for blood collection, in the lab, if you see when you go for lab postings, when we collect the blood sample for pathology samples, we collect heparin tube or EDTA tube. So heparin is used in the glass, in the test tube for blood collection, and it acts as a anticoagulant. Anticoagulant means it prevents the blood coagulation. So heparin has anticoagulant property in vitro and in vivo. So in the body and outside the body, it acts as a anticoagulant, means it prevents the blood coagulation. So this heparin can be used for the treatment of thromboembolic episodes. In vivo, it is used for treatment of thromboembolic episodes, means the blood clots can be cleared by using this heparin. Now heparin helps in the release of the enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. So this lipoprotein lipase can clear the lipidemia after a fatty meal. So that is why this heparin is also considered as clearing factor or lipotropic factor. So action of heparin as an anticoagulant, if you see, this binding of heparin to antithrombin 3 causes the conformational change in antithrombin 3 and favoring its binding to thrombin and inhibits it. So fibrinogen is not converted to fibrin, so fibrin clots are not produced, so blood will not clot when you add heparin. Heparin sulfate, if it is sulfated, so it is same as heparin except some amino groups carry acetyl groups and percentage of sulfate groups are smaller in case of heparin sulfate. So it is predominantly made up of D-glucuronic acid instead of L-iduronic acid. So D-glucuronic acid is mainly present in heparan sulfate. So this is a low molecular heparan sulfate, acts as a weak anticoagulant, found in basement membrane of the kidney, plays role in charge selectiveness of renal glomerulus. Now you know blood group antigens. We say blood groups means A positive, B positive, A negative, B negative, AB positive, AB negative. Likewise, we identify the blood groups. So these blood group antigens which are present on the RBC membrane, they are also made up of carbohydrates composing glycoproteins or glycolipids. So these blood group antigens, they are made up of N-acetyl galactosamine, glucosamine, galactose, fucose, sialic acid. All these are all found in the antigens, blood group antigens. So they are glycoprotein or glycolipids. So the carbohydrate content also plays a determinant role in the blood grouping. So when you are determining the blood group, the carbohydrate content plays a very important role in the determination of a blood group. So these proteins, with the proteins, they form A, B, O and Rh factors of RBC, which constitute antigens of RBC. So these antigens, they react with the antibodies of serum, causing agglutination. Then we identify what type of a blood group it is. So the O antigen that is present on the RBC is not agglutinated by different types of antibodies of serum, and person with blood group O is called as universal donor. So the blood group antigens are also because of the presence of carbohydrates, that is made up of heteropolysaccharides. So carbohydrates can determine the antigenic property of the RBC. So we identify the blood groups with different antigens. So mainly the sialic acid called as neuraminic acid is present in the RBC. So this sialic acid is the one which can help in the identification of blood groups. So that's all. We have completed